Welcome to the milk bar. 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 Welcome to the milk bar.
Welcome along to episode 695 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show this week, we are continuing to talk panto. The Grand have two amazing pantos this year. Well, this festive season into 2033 at least. We've got Aladdin, which is, of course, their Christmas offering. We heard loads about it last week. We have more to follow because we'll be hearing from Tam Ryan and Ian Adams at Wishy Washy and Widow Twanky. Also, we'll be talking about what happens behind the scenes and how panto comes together. We got Adrian Jackson. He is the CEO of the Grand, and also we're meeting with Paul Hendy, who will be bringing the panto to life in other venues after it's done its run at the Grand. Plus, we'll be joined by Nathan Bryan, who'll be letting us know more about the production behind the show and how it all comes together to make Christmas magical for so many. We'll also have a chat with Scott Bird. He's going to be letting us know about Mother Goose. This has got some amazing stars in it, Serene McKellen, Mel Goodrich, as well as John Bishop. And that's going to be an amazing treat in February at the Grand. So if you want to fancy two pantos this year, and we have two in the city of Wolverhampton, which will be absolutely amazing. Then on top of that, we'll be joined by Dr. Hilary Jones. He'll be along to let us know about the two vaccines that are available as we head into the winter months, with not only the latest coronavirus variant being covered, but also the flu vaccine for 2022-23 as well. That's all on the way on the show this week.
He's going to be trouble, isn't he? We haven't even started yet. He's going to be trouble. We are down here at Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre to chat with two of the very professional cast of Aladdin, which is on stage from the 3rd of December through until the 7th of January. It is Aladdin, which means we have a wishy-washy and a widow twanky. And I'm glad I managed to say both of those in one sentence.
You did very well with that,
mate.
Well,
there we go.
Very well with that.
They've teased me by putting you two together. Obviously, mother and son.
Yeah.
But
well, not biologically. Can we just say?
Well, no, but adoptive at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. You have adopted Ian, haven't you?
Oh.
Tam Ryan, Ian Adams. No, for those who hadn't already worked it out.
Yeah.
Back, both of you, again this year, which is awesome. Ian, I don't think you've left the building, have you?
Well, I've been here quite a bit this year, and we're about to go out in the schools on Monday as well. Mm-hmm. So, and then it won't be long before we're back again. So, yes, it has been a lot of time in Wolverhampton this year.
Which is good, and we love having you here.
And I love being here.
And we tolerate Tam.
Yes,
but
that hurts.
You know, it's great. As soon as we knew that we got Tam back this year, I think there was a little party, wasn't there?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice, mate. Yeah. Well, I had a party as well, in fairness.
You're thinking I'm going to be able to afford Christmas this year?
Well, very much for that, yeah. Well, I'm not sure the way things are going.
Well, yeah, crisis, who knows? You've been trying to do 9 pantos all at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to pay the fuel bill for the house you can't even stay in, but there we are. So what is going on? Because you've had a good year as well, I take it?
Yeah, I've had a lovely year, yeah. Really, really nice.
Did you remember any of it?
Not much. No, I spent,
Any gigs?
Yeah, a few. Yeah, we did. Because
I've got it all written down on a bit of paper. If you can't remember,
okay, well, we've left it over there.
Yeah, no, we'll see what you can remember.
All right. What have I done? Well, I finished in Wolverhampton. Yeah. And I went to the Weatherspoons for 3 months.
Yeah. Washing glasses or?
No, just pitched a tent.
Okay.
No, I've been doing comedy. I've been doing writing. I've done a lot of writing this year. For an exciting project, which hopefully I can...
He can't tell us about...
I can't tell you about...
I know he's been up to loads because I have been following this man on Instagram, I think it is. And you're doing loads. Yeah, there's lots of stuff going on there.
Yeah, sure, yeah. No, you're right. I've been... the good thing is about what I do for a living, I suppose, is no 2 days are the same, really. So one day I've got my writing hat on, the next day I'm...
Not even when you're trying to follow a script, is there? No 2 days are the same.
So I'm not sure if a script features in my rehearsal.
Serving suggestions for the panto this year include.
Yeah, yeah, indeed, yeah. But no, yeah, I've just been busy and enjoying life is what I've done. We've all got to enjoy life, haven't we?
Yeah. And I say Aladdin is a fun panto.
Yeah.
And it's great. Again, it's great for you two because we get to see you two working your comedy magic together again.
Well, it's true because we didn't really have that much last year, did we? And like you say, this year we're biologically linked.
We are indeed.
And I've always looked upon you as my natural mother, anyway, like a surrogate mother.
Okay. Well, I did my best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, we didn't really have a lot together, did we?
No.
But they were all sort of comic set pieces, really.
Yeah, they were.
So,
but this year we'll have a chance to
have a lot more.
Chance to lark about a bit as well.
And of course there's another son as well. So
yeah.
there's not just one, but two.
No, he's put Aladdin, who's quite
Yeah.
integral to the piece.
It was, mostly out on the
Yeah,
grounds.
to do with
He
the
got the
time.
name in the title
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah, disappointed. My pitch for the mishaps of Wishy Washy didn't go
Didn't go
get
anywhere.
past the first production.
That's a
meeting.
shame, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
But I think Ben's going to make an amazing Aladdin. So.
Oh, mate,
So
he's,
do I.
yeah,
It's perfect. for
yeah.
it.
We only met him today actually, but he's a lovely bloke.
Yeah.
But
He's
you've been
already-
watching it on TV for ages because that's your level, isn't it? You watch TV all the
Yeah,
time.
something. Yeah.
Oh no, you
It's
watch
a-
it with the kids. Sorry,
No, it's a bit much. It's a bit advanced for me.
Okay, right.
Yeah. No, my kids are a bit older than that now. So in fairness, but I was aware of him. He's a very nice man. Very well mannered.
I know.
it's very
Yeah.
polite.
So you two better get up your game a little bit.
I
before
know,
that.
haven't we, mate?
Yeah.
Haven't we?
No, we're sort of the rough end of the family.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's the one who's going to university,
Yeah.
and we're the one who
Well,
Doing
fingers
bank
crossed.
jobs.
We'll find out whether everybody makes their fortune
yeah.
because that's a possibility, isn't it?
Well, you never know.
It could happen.
Could happen.
Right, we had to say Wishy Washy and Widow Twanky. I'm doing it. I'm pointing in more or less in the right
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
Tam Ryan, Ian Adams. You can find them both are doing stuff online. They're always down here at the Grand because we say Ian is part of the furniture.
I love it.
But
Love it.
yeah, you can join them for the panto that is Aladdin from the 3rd of December right the way through to the 7th of January. 01902 429212 is the box office number. grandtheatre.co.uk to get your tickets and enjoy an amazing Christmas. And I wish you an amazing Christmas and good New Year too.
Thank you,
Same
Jason.
to you, Jason. And
Nice, isn't
we'll
it?
see you on press night, won't we?
Absolutely.
Yes, mate.
Great.
At Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre, Aladdin is on stage from the 3rd of December through to the 7th of January. However, the work is already well underway to bring this to thousands across the festive period. To tell us more, I've got Adrian Jackson and Paul Hendy. Hello to you both.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good, and I'm supposed to find you both well.
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Excited about Panto. It's Panto. And I mean, we have Mr. Production and Mr. Panto here. I mean, that is pretty much the way it is. I mean, Adrian, you must be so pleased with what you've got ahead of us. And I know you and the team have already been working really hard.
Absolutely. We've always wanted to produce in-house. The Grand Theatre is a producing house. It's produced Panto since its inception in 1894. So to actually have our own Panto this year, fantastic. Dream come true for me.
Absolutely. And we were talking probably, about 6 weeks ago when you were teasing me because you wouldn't tell me who you got
No, I
lined up.
wouldn't.
And
No.
it's an amazing lineup as well, which is... And I think this is the thing. When you're producing in-house, sometimes people think, well, they're not going to be able to get... You've got the stars. You have exactly who we need. We've got a great cross-section of people for all audiences and talent that's just going to ooze its way into the auditorium.
Absolutely. And the show that we've got, it's so strong musically, from an acting point of view, from a comedy, and we've got a great cast to deliver exactly that as a great package.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It is about the whole package.
Totally.
And it's going to make Christmas for people again, isn't it?
Totally. And again, for the whole family, so it's going to be a great family panto for everyone.
Now, what else have you got up your sleeve? Because it doesn't stop with the cast. Because I mean, last year we were wowed by the scenery on stage. What you always like to do something a little bit different each year whenever you're involved in something. So
We do, and it's a bit of a surprise, really. It's every year we have to give something different, and we have to develop what we did the year before, and it's all part of the process and the thrill of Panto. So there will be some little surprises, but I'm not going to give. You'll have to come and see the show.
well, I'm absolutely guaranteed to come and see the show. We want everyone else to as well. And as somebody who's going to enjoy seeing the show, I mean, Evolution Pantos are partnering here. It's an in-house production, but this is something which interests you greatly, doesn't it? Because this is going to become part of the portfolio that you take out on the road across the UK.
Yes, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be doing that. As you say, I run Evolution Productions with my wife, Emily. We run it together. I don't know why I pointed at Adrian then when I said my wife. Adrian's not my wife. But I run
I answer to anything.
I run Evolution with my wife, Emily, and yeah, I'm thrilled on a personal level to be working with Adrian at the Grand because, A, this is where I first saw pantomime as a kid. I'm a local lad, relatively. I'm from Telford, so my mum used to bring me here when I was a kid, so this is when I first got a love for the genre. But also I performed here. I performed on stage here.
You're not the only one in this group who's done that.
Right. Exactly. But there's something very, very special about this theatre. We were just discussing it. Okay, What is it? Is it that you just use a good word? You know, it's beating. It's sort of like it's innate. Yeah, it's just something in this theatre that when you've played here, when you've been here, when you've been in the audience, you know, it's like. Yeah, and I was saying we produce all over the country, and this is undoubtedly one of the best theatres in the country, and I don't say that lightly. I really don't. It's great.
And I think it's a theatre, though, that allows the performers to be heard with or without mics. And the fact they will be mic'd is one side of it. But even if that wasn't there, the theatre brings that sound to life. And it means that when you do mic someone up, it just amplifies the energy that they're bringing to the stage. And I think that's another big part of having the right feel in a theatre.
Yeah.
You look out at that stage, the plasterwork and mouldings are not part of the show, but without them, this just brings more to the show, doesn't it?
Those theatre designers, those Victorian. Is this a matchroom? I meant to. Is it? It's not a matchroom, is it? Phipps.
Charles Phipps,
You know, all those great Victorian designers, they knew what they were doing. You know, like you say, the mouldings and all that. Yeah, that doesn't necessarily, but it is part of it. It's part of coming to the theatre. And you mentioned the sound there. They knew what they were doing acoustically. They didn't have computers to work that out.
No.
It's incredible. It really is.
Yeah, well, I've stood on that stage without a microphone and been heard at the back, and I'm moderately loud, but it's just the fact you can do it.
Yeah.
And
It's that intimacy, isn't it? It seats 1,200 people, but you don't feel that there are 1,200 people in there because you're so close. Always.
But you're very much amongst friends, and talking with Michael Greco, who's already seen the theatre, he loves the place as well. And I think that's going to be when the performers love it. That really helps you bring the show together, doesn't it?
Definitely. I remember it's one of my favourite pantomimes that I did as a performer. I did about 25 pantomimes as a performer, and this one really sticks in my memory as one of the best.
Yeah, well, I think as well, it's the fact that you are going on a journey, and that's part of it. And again, this brings you more challenges with the production team to tell that story. But it's something that, again, I know you'll rise to. And I mean, are we thinking flying carpets here?
Well, it's Aladdin.
Yeah, it's got to happen, hasn't it?
It's got to happen, yeah. But how? That's the thing.
I'm going to guess magic.
Of course.
Actual magic. I think that's what'll do it. But it's going to be well worth coming along to see. And again, the fact that it'll be having a life after this Christmas as well is another absolutely amazing part of it.
It's very exciting.
And great for the team here at the Grand who put so much into these things. It is the 3rd of December through until the 7th of January. 01902 429212 is the box office number. grandtheatre.co.uk. Get along there, get your tickets, and get to be part of the Christmas family down here at the Grand. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Two-thirds of us are concerned about a twin-demic this year. Not only do we have the ongoing coronavirus and potentially a new wave for the winter, but also we've got this year's version of the flu to contend with too. To tell us more about how we can protect ourselves, I'm joined now by Dr. Hilary Jones. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jason. How are you?
I'm okay. I hope we find you well, and obviously preparing yourself in your work as a doctor for a winter season, which could be as difficult as we've seen over the past couple of years.
Absolutely. Look, we know that there are increasing numbers of COVID-19 cases again, and that's resulted in a larger number of hospitalizations already as winter approaches. But on top of that, we're coming into the normal flu season. And if we look at what's happened in the Southern Hemisphere, it's a good indicator of what's likely to happen here. So in Australia, they've seen far more flu cases in their winter than they have in recent years, 55,000 cases on top of COVID. And it's likely that we'll see the same here. So it makes sense to be prepared. We have the NHS flu vaccination campaign up and running already. And it makes absolute sense, particularly for those people in the groups eligible for free NHS vaccination to get vaccinated as soon as possible. It'll start with the over 65s and the eligible groups, that is pregnant women, primary school children, people with pre-existing conditions, people living in residential and nursing homes, for example. And then later on, it'll be rolled out to the over 50s as well, free on the NHS. So what we don't want is a twindemic, because having COVID-19 and flu together would be very serious indeed.
Yeah, and the myth that you can not get two diseases at the same time is just that, a myth. It isn't true. You can.
Oh, I wish it were true, but it isn't. You can get two different viruses with completely different antigenicity and characteristics together. And if you've got no immunity against either, then it could potentially be very serious indeed.
Yeah, and I mean, in the UK, we're normally pretty good for our uptake on vaccinations, everything from an early age right the way through. And there were obviously the naysayers surrounding the coronavirus vaccine and all that, because coronavirus itself that we're going through isn't a type of virus that we're unused to, but this novel variant which brought COVID-19 has been the problem. And that's why there's been a novel approach to it. And it's still not too late to get your first vaccination if you have been put off in the past.
No, that's right. We know that vaccination is very safe, and it has prevented many hospitalizations and deaths over the last couple of years. So, if you look at the history of vaccination, it has saved billions of lives globally. In the turn of the previous century, probably, it was the leading cause, infection was the leading cause of death, and now that's almost unheard of. So vaccination we owe a great deal to, and COVID-19 is unpredictable. It's random. It can affect people who are young, fit, healthy people, as well as the elderly and the people with lowered immunity for whatever reason. So it makes sense to avail yourself of a jab which can protect you against both flu on the one hand, and a different one that protects you against COVID. And the twindemic that people are talking about is a real possibility. I had my jabs last week. I had my booster for COVID in one arm and my flu jab in the other arm. And for those people wondering if that's okay, it's perfectly okay. It makes absolute sense, because all the research shows that it's just as safe as having them individually on different dates, and just as effective as well. And it also reduces the number of staff you need to do more than one appointment. So yeah, it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, and it gets people ready for a winter season. And we know that coronavirus leading to COVID-19 is a killer, but also flu can be too.
Well, even in a good year, we'll lose thousands of people to the effects of flu, the complications, the bronchopneumonias, the bronchitis, and the sepsis that can occur. And children, you can get ear infections from flu as well, which are very nasty, even meningitis. So, it is worth bearing in mind that flu is something that we get maybe if we're unlucky once or twice in our lifetime. It's not a heavy cold. It's completely different, and it does have different complications. So, since we have a decent form of protection in the vaccine, it makes absolute sense to get this done. And remember that the flu vaccine given to adults is an inactivated vaccine. It's not a live virus, can't give you flu. And so just to explode that myth, it can't give you flu. I mean, you can get a coincidental cold afterwards, but that's not to say that the vaccine has given you that at all.
So yeah, it is one to look at, consider, and yeah, it is certainly, by all the evidence, the most sensible way forward, isn't it?
It's exactly what they've done in Australia, for example. They saw that they're getting increased numbers of flu cases compared to the previous couple of years. So they rolled out the program to vaccinate against COVID and the flu at the same time, and it's been very successful down there. So this is something we need to do in the Northern Hemisphere as well, and certainly the WHO are totally on board with that too.
Absolutely. Where do we go to find out when we're eligible?
So people who are eligible for these jabs will be contacted in due course. The highest priority groups first. But for more information, people can talk to their local GP, their local pharmacist, or go onto the NHS website for further information. And we can see the Seqirus website as well for their information and the research that they've done surrounding all of this. And I say the important message is go out there, get your vaccinations, and make sure you're keeping yourself and others safe as we head into the winter months. Absolutely. Dr. Hilary Jones, as ever, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jason. Pleasure.
Now, not only have you got Aladdin over Christmas at Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre, but Mother Goose will be along from the 22nd of February through to the 26th. And you've got an amazing array of even more stars. But Scott Bird has been down to London to meet up with them, and he's here now to tell me about the experience. Hello, sir.
I have. Hello.
How are you doing?
Yeah, really good.
Now, we haven't had a chance to have a good catch-up on a run of shows at the minute because there are so many shows, we haven't had time to do it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's been great talking to some of the stars that we have on the way. But you actually went out and about in your role as impressed down here at the Grand and met up with 3 amazing performers.
I did, yeah. So it was a very early morning. I was on a train at a time that I don't normally see, but it meant that I was in Leicester Square for a really, really exciting press launch. There was a huge... Exciting, yeah. There was a huge golden egg outside the Londoner Hotel.
Because we've teased it, we haven't said what it is yet.
Yes, no, we haven't. And around this egg was various paparazzi, press, excitement was building, and then Mel Gidroich appeared from the doors of the hotel to open this egg, and of course the other 2 stars of Mother Goose popped out, who are John Bishop and Sir Ian McKellen.
And they are down here for Mother Goose, as we say, 22nd through to the 26th of February. It is going to be another great family extravaganza. And there's only many more egg jokes we can probably get in there between now and the start of February to make sure that we get a full
plenty
full
of
pun central.
Excellent egg puns. But yeah, so it's really exciting because you know that I love panto. And
I know that you go to about 15 pantos a year at least.
Yeah, and of course live and breathe this panto here. And I'm always a little bit sad when the panto season comes to an end. But then straight after that panto season, we go into Mamma Mia for 2 weeks. Yeah. And then not long after that, of course, Mother Goose hatches in Wolverhampton. So, you know, it's going to be a really, really good start to the year.
And I mean, it was a surprise, I think, for most people, because I mean, you guys all knew you were sneakingly doing something.
Yes.
But I think the fact that, again, panto is so important to so many theatres, and certainly the audiences that use them as well. And to have this as a sort of 2-pronged attack over Christmas into the new year, and the traditional panto time has always moved around the UK, hasn't it? I mean, there's been summer pantos in the past. It's not just been the Christmas, and some theatres run their panto through until the early part of spring. The Grand, it's a full-on December through to January, and that in itself gives people the amazing festivities, but this will give them again something exciting to look forward to during the latter part of February.
Yeah, and I think we were and still are actually one of the longest runs of a panto in the country. But of course, back sort of 30-40 years ago, as you say, pantos would run until pretty much Easter, and as always did. And of course, as that sort of got nearer and nearer to the sort of the new year now, what we're really excited about is that we can present this panto a little bit into the year, because I guess Mother Goose isn't a title that you see all that often.
No, that's a thing.
And the story itself sort of lends itself to that sort of early spring, Easter time. So, you know, as it sort of, you know, it's going to do a mini tour and it's only going to do a few theatres, but we are so lucky to be one of them after it spends the entirety of the Christmas season in the heart of London's West End.
So, I mean, it's another opportunity to see a fantastic West End show in regional theatre. And that's, I mean, the Grand is built for this, isn't it? It's exactly the right type of theatre. And although bigger than several West End theatres, it will still have exactly the right feel about it, and it will bring another show to an audience who are going to be eager to see the likes of Sir Ian McKellen that you wouldn't necessarily expect to be doing regional theatre these days.
No, it's brilliant. I mean, not everybody sort of, you know, there'll be a show in the West End, and it's not very often that the lead in that show then ends up taking it on the road. But Ian McKellen even said, you know, at the age of 83, is still out there and he's still touring and he's still sort of, you know, getting into the provinces and doing what he's always done all of his life in the Shakespeares. So,
well, it will be absolutely amazing. It is the 22nd through to the 26th of February, grandtheatre.co.uk. Look for the links to Mother Goose on there. We'll give the box office a call on 01902 429212. Scott, have a great time in the run-up to Christmas and the New Year, and we look forward to hearing more about all the brilliant shows of 2023 soon.
Thank you, Jason.
When Aladdin is on stage at Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre, there's someone going to be nervously watching what's happening in the production. It's Nathan Bryan, who is with me now to let me know what is going to happen. How's it all happening, sir?
It's all good. It's all very exciting. It's all getting very real now.
You prepared?
as prepared as we can be at this point.
Because, I mean, we're talking 3rd of December is opening night.
We are indeed.
Which means dress the day before.
Yep.
That's the important one to have absolutely everything lined up for.
Yeah.
You'll probably get about 2 weeks where the cast are learning lines and rehearsing somewhere near you so you can drag them in and
Exactly.
show them stuff. Have you ever had anybody drop off a stage yet that wasn't supposed to?
Well, funnily enough, I have, not here at the Grand, but yes, I did. I produced a production of Wizard of Oz at Winter Gardens.
And is it a little more magical than it was supposed to be?
Well, yes, the Wicked Witch fell off on top of the drum booth. So
Ooh.
that was
But a good sound with it as well.
Yeah. Although I wouldn't want to repeat that again. So
No,
fingers
for
crossed
insurance
that doesn't
reasons,
happen.
but yeah.
Yes, quite.
But when you are bringing something together like this, you've taken into account the fact you'll have a hugely wide-ranging audience who will have all sorts of different ideas of what a theatre actually is, and you have to entertain them, not only with what's going on in the script and the costumes, but also what's happening around them. And it's those little things. If I get the opportunity, I like to go and see a show twice.
Yes.
Because that way you get to pick up on all the stuff that you weren't focusing on because you're distracted by those performers who
Absolutely.
are messing around with bits of
Those
things.
performers put in all the focus all the time.
Yeah,
I mean,
so that's
how
the way
dare
it
they?
goes. That's shocking, isn't it? And you put so much effort into that little bit of wallpaper that falls down at the right time, or
Absolutely.
whatever it is.
Yeah. Then you've got Tam Ryan tearing up a stage.
Yeah, shocking. So this is a biggie. I mean, talking with Adrian earlier on, we've got to see a flying carpet at some point. So
We will indeed see a flying carpet.
so
I
the
can confirm.
best Axminster in the air, and that in itself that brings challenges. But Panto does every year because there's always something special.
Always got to try and bring something new, something special. Last year was very new for us, Cinderella, full digital set and all of that was wonderful. The audience really responded well to it. So the challenge this year is, how do we top that? What do we do? What can we throw at this year that will make people go, every year the Grand's different, every year the Grand is moving forward. So, yeah, we've got quite a lot of ideas. We've got quite a lot of
Because
things.
basically, you are selling tickets for next year.
Yes.
That's the thing.
No, it is.
This year's sold
Yeah.
already. So you
100%, and that's the thing, and you always know that if you do one bad year, that is your next year gone.
But that's never happened here.
No.
And it's never going
And
to,
it's
is
not
it?
going to.
No.
No way on earth.
No.
Absolutely
And not on your watch.
No, this is going to be the most magical panto ever, which means that next year will also be incredibly well sold, and we'll have to go one stage further,
Yep.
which is equally exciting and scary.
But it must give you pleasure putting smiles on so many faces, though.
100%, and I think that the beauty of panto is how cross-generational it is. I don't know, I've worked in theatre now for 20 plus years, and
That's
there
surely
is-
that's not possible.
Well, you're too kind, but I mean, look at the grey on my hair, and it will tell
I
you the
thought
truth.
those were highlights.
Yes, exactly. They are my highlights of life.
Must take hours to do in the beard, but there we go. Anyway, back to the plot.
Back to the plot. Yeah, because it's so cross-generational, there is no other genre like it, where you could sit there with a 4-year-old and a 104-year-old who would all have that shared lived experience of that moment and the show that is only existing for those 2 hours. And by that I mean that you come and watch a panto twice, you'll see 2 different shows. You come and watch a panto 10 times, you'll probably see 10 different shows.
Yeah.
Now, when you have got performers like Ian Adams and Tam Ryan, then potentially you could see...
You can see 2 different shows at the same time.
Exactly that. But that is the beauty of it. Obviously, the generic plot and where we go from A to B will always exist. But the freedom in panto and the fact that it relies so heavily on the audience interaction, and therefore that audience will shape that show. They are a part of that show, and that's why pantomime is so beautifully unique and so wonderfully British, and we forget that.
And we always get amazing audiences at the Grand, which means you always get an amazing show.
Absolutely. And you start the run and you've got all your schools performances, which is, you walk through this building, if you work in any of the offices when we first opened panto to those school performances, and you just need earmuffs or something because the noise that is just emanating from here. And what's beautiful is then the journey that you go through from those schools performances into the more traditional family performances, or then sometimes the evening shows as we get further down with a slightly more adult audience. And every time those audiences are with the performers, but they're getting a different show.
Yeah, and it is truly awesome the way that works, and that is again part of the magic of panto. And why live theatre is so important.
It's nothing like it. You can't replicate it.
Yeah.
And we're all big fans of the digital world in terms of what you can get on demand and all of these
Yeah,
wonderful
but
series.
even cinema,
it's different.
each thing's a different thing. Watching something on a screen at home is nowhere near the same as seeing it on a big screen in the cinema. And then it's nothing like seeing real people do the whole show in their heads on stage every time. There's no retakes.
Absolutely.
Apart from the panto, you can get away with it a bit. But mostly there's no retakes.
I do tell the cast that there's no retakes, but some of them ignore that.
But it adds to the magic of the show.
Of course it does.
Well,
Of
there we
course
go.
it does.
But so you will be ready for that
100%.
opening night
Yep.
on the 3rd of December. That will be super. Right the way through until the 7th of January. 01902 429212 is the box office number you will need. You have to have that number to ring through and get your tickets, or just buy them online. grandtheatre.co.uk. So Nathan, but have a great time. Do I have to tell you to break a leg as well as the performers?
No, because that would probably then
could actually
yeah,
happen.
we
Yeah.
don't want
So
that.
you stay well away from
stay
showing
well
any
away.
leg on stage,
Absolutely.
and fingers crossed that the performance will go most of the way you want it.
Yeah.
But as entertaining as it can be either
As
way.
long as it's entertaining, we're happy.
Well, that's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Back with episode 696 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.